Learn how to use any camera for filming. At the end of this video, you'll be able to film with just about any camera. There are many different cameras at different price points, but all of them have the same functions that will be described in this video. Warning! Contents in this video are extremely simple to kickstart filming decently good. Whichever camera you choose, you'll need some accessories. This is what I recommend for a start. 2 spare batteries, a dual slot charger, a mini tripod, SD cards rated to record 4K videos, and an ND filter. This will be explained later. As you are waiting for your camera and accessories to arrive from Amazon, Shopee, or Lazada, you can first practice composition with your phone. How to make items in your video look good. Rule of thirds. Placing the focus point on these lines will help make a better looking frame. Leading lines. Have lines in your background to guide your eyes to the subject. Reduce clutter. Less is more, or blur your background to achieve the effect. Have contrasting colors. Follow the laws of the color wheel. Break the rules. Use the rules as a guide just to get started. Your camera finally arrived, and if you're like me, you'll be wondering what all the buttons do or what the words even mean. Now for the important parts. Overexpose, underexpose, nicely exposed. Having a video correctly exposed will make everything look good and editing easier. ISO, shutter speed, aperture. These are the 3 words that make up the exposure triangle. How sensitive your camera sensor reacts to light. ISO 100, not sensitive, very dark. ISO 32,000, very bright. Each camera comes with a native ISO. Google the range for your camera and use it. As anything above this range, the camera digitally processes the video and you can get super grainy videos. This is the length of time your camera shutter is allowed to open for light to touch the sensor. Or it's just how fast your camera blinks. Low shutter speed, your camera blinks slowly. More light, bright video. High shutter speed, blinks faster, less light, dark video. In video filming, your shutter speed should be set to double your frame rate, or the closest number to it. If you are shooting at 24 frames per second, set the shutter speed to 48 or 50, 30 frames per second to 60, 60 frames per second to 120, and 120 frames per second to 240. This is so the camera can mimic how the eye sees in real life. Set it too low, you get this effect. Dreamy, right? Set it too high, you get this. Creepy. Double your frame rate. It is a physical hole that is adjusted smaller or bigger to allow light in to touch the sensor. Small number, big hole, more light. Big number, small hole, less light. These 3 form the triangle. When one property changes, the other 2 will have to be increased or decreased to achieve a good exposure. This refers to how much your image is in focus or out of focus. Want to make your background blurry and professional? Low aperture, blurry background. High aperture, background in focus. An ND filter is sunglasses for your camera. Its job is to help you get a decent exposure when opening up your aperture to make blurry backgrounds. The camera is smart, and usually you'll find what is important and focus on that in your video. Usually, it's your face. If you place something in front of your face, the camera will autofocus on that instead of your face. Switch the brains off the camera. Once you set the focus, it will continue to focus on the item and won't auto-track the face. Look, I'm still blurred. Focus. Blur. These are magical guidelines that show where your shot is overexposed. Blue, orange, balance. Your camera needs some help to decide what color the video should be in. For a start, use the presets in your camera and check with your eye. If your camera is set to PAL, you will only see 25 frames per second, 50 and 100 frames per second. If it is set to NTSC, it will only have 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, 60 frames and 120 frames. Electricity in PAL countries run on 50 Hz. In NTSC countries, it runs on 60. Just remember, PAL 50 Hz, NTSC 60 Hz. If you film 120 FPS at a shutter speed of 240 in a PAL country, you might face this problem, lights flickering. To solve this, you can either adjust the shutter speed to match the flickering lights or change your camera setting to a PAL setting and use a PAL frame rate. I live in a PAL country, but I choose to film in NTSC because this company recommends video to be 30 frames per second. Now you know what the words in your camera mean. Go search a YouTube video on how to set up your camera. Trust me, it's faster than reading the manual. Hold the camera with both hands, elbows in, close to your chest, and move your body. Use the strap around your neck so you can point and move around. Use a tripod. Now you are ready to use your camera to film some awesome videos. That's it from me. Learn something new.